Kelly, and this is Puppets in Politics. On September 20th, Erin Otoole led the Conservative Party of Canada to its third electoral defeat at the hands of Justin Trudeau's Liberals. Now Erin faces calls for his replacement from within the Conservative caucus, most recently from Batty Nutball Senator Denise Batters. That seems redundant. But was this defeat, where Conservatives failed to gain overall votes for the first time this century, a sign that Canadians, particularly those in the centre with working brain cells, aren't buying neocon rhetoric? With me now is Erin Otoole. Welcome, Erin.
And I won't speak moistly either.
Sophomoric chuckles aside, unlike you lot, I thought that was a brilliant example of a Freudian slip during a highly contagious pandemic. But let's get on to the question of why Conservatives keep losing elections to Justin Trudeau.
Obviously, I'm disappointed. I thought I put forward a campaign to talk about change, talk about our economic risks coming out of COVID. Many people that were kicking the tires with the Conservatives didn't buy the car.
With Michelle Rempel, Pierre Poilievre, Cheryl Gallant, and Michael Cooper still spewing their idiocy, don't you think that's because they saw it as a lemon?
I thought it was wrong to have a pandemic election. I still think that.
Oh, did you now? Jimmy?
We'll be able to cast a vote for new leadership in this country. Vern, great question. I think we will likely have an election in the spring.
I'd love to know that, actually.
Justin Trudeau, are you tuning in to our fireside chat?
I'd really love to play.
Justin, when are you going to pull the trigger?
How do you address the claims that you're a flip-flopper?
We have national unity crisis in this country right now.
No, we don't. In fact, all the modeling says that except for Alberta and parts of Saskatchewan, the nation is consistently leaning towards progressives, while your party wants to take Canada back.
It was unprecedented for the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, to pick fights with about 5 different premiers throughout the course of an election, mocking their response or criticizing their actions.
Now hold on. Those premiers botched their COVID response, resulting in avoidable deaths of tens of thousands of Canadians. And your silence indicated you were just fine with those provincial disasters. Don't you think your failure to separate yourself from Doug Ford, Jason Kenney, and Moe is the real reason the tide shifted back to the Liberals during the campaign? Because polling says it is.
If I counted all the people saying, hey, I voted for you, we need to replace Mr. Trudeau, I wonder how I lost the election.
You get there are millions of Canadians in this country, and since your party vets attendees at your rallies and speaking engagements, you're not hearing from any of those outside your circle jerk bubble. The only people willing to talk to you are those who hate Trudeau, which is a tiny minority of people in this nation. You get that, right?
We were doing very well in the middle when we were talking about our economic recovery. We're talking about inflation, which is again hitting records today.
But everywhere has inflation. It's a byproduct of the pandemic, not a policy of Justin Trudeau. Don't you think Canadians both see through and are tired of that sort of unhelpful finger pointing?
People are very dissatisfied with Mr. Trudeau, and his surfing trip to Tofino on the first day of Truth and Reconciliation was another example of how he's constantly letting us down.
Most people aren't superficial enough to care about a week the Prime Minister took off for an annual family tradition. They want leaders who can balance their personal needs with the obligations of governing. And since the Liberals aren't a single-person party like the Conservatives were under Stephen Harper, this government has kept its eye on the ball, even with Justin taking a week off. So the question is, why aren't Conservatives moving to the center where the votes are?
We need to make sure those communities know we're taking issues they care about seriously and that we have conservative solutions.
Your solutions are to reverse progress. Most Canadians don't want that. In fact, the highest percentage of voter in any recent election has rejected your party. Join Puppets in Politics tomorrow for a continued discussion with Conservative Party leader Erin Otoole.
On this day in 1972, Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt began the third and final extravehicular activity, or EVA, or moonwalk, of Apollo 17. To date, they are the last humans to set foot on the moon. Well, that's weirdly specific. Have we sent dogs there or something? It's also Violin Day, Day of the Horse, and Hot Cocoa Day. Oh, that'd be wonderful, actually. And that's today's Duza Bear Digest. We'll see you tomorrow.